Simmons entered the Japanese market in 1964, even though historically the Japanese had always slept on futons. Nonetheless, the firm decided to begin making and selling its beds, mattresses, and box springs in Japan. Unfortunately, by 1967, Simmons had not yet turned a profit and found itself in trouble with the government. In fact, fewer than 15% of the Japanese were sleeping on Western style beds. The typical Japanese houses were usually not big enough to comfortably accommodate a large Western style bed. Also, most of the Japanese were living in small apartments in the 1960s. Other problems arose in the sales and distribution sector. Japanese suppliers and retailers were bound to each other through a deeply embedded sense of obligation known as on, and the intense desire to maintain societal harmony known as wa. Japanese suppliers and retailers did not want to dishonor on and wa, and they favored their compatriots' business no matter what. To combat this, Simmons had no other choice but to create their own sales channel, but that came with its own set of problems. First off, their Japanese salesmen couldn't sell customers on beds that they hadn't even tried themselves. Also, many of their customers were high class and would be considered insulted if a lower class salesman called them. Another obstacle that Simmons faced was pricing. Simmons had bought and staffed concessions in major Tokyo department stores, but they were way overpriced and their sales began to show it. Also, in advertising, the company completely bypassed television, which was by far the best medium in Japan. This was because of their misunderstanding of the market. All of these series of blunders reduced the likelihood of converting the locals to mattresses and nearly forced the firm to leave Japan. Eventually, they downsized and gave charge to a local licensee.